Ivan, and I promised that I'm going to make an honest review after 2 weeks of using the Cougar Argo, but after 2 weeks, I felt that it doesn't have enough content, and after a month of using, I noticed some behavior changes with the Cougar Argo, so I decided to make it into a 2 month review instead. If you haven't watched my unboxing video regarding the Cougar Argo, you can click on the link here or I'll leave a link in the description below. While you're at it, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. To be as thorough as I can, I'll try to give the pros and cons in a timeline. Please keep in mind that everything I say here are my opinions, so your experience might differ from my experience in using this ergonomic chair. Let's begin with my initial impressions. As I have said in my unboxing video, on the first seating experience, you can immediately feel the advantage of the breathable seat cushion. The frame is made from premium aluminum. There is a serious weight behind it. And though the lumbar support doesn't have a height adjustment, but the dynamic adjustment is the real deal. The seat depth is really useful, not just because the change of the depth, but it's the key factor that will make your experience with the lumbar support from a mediocre experience to an S tier. The height adjustment of the armrest is really good. They have a lot of stop points, so the adjustment is really precise, and it's really easy to adjust. Just squeeze the lever, and then you can easily adjust the height of the armrest. For my initial impression, the cons are the recline tension is almost not noticeable. The lumbar support doesn't have any height adjustment. There is no lock in the side-to-side adjustment of the armrest, including the front and back adjustment of the armrest. And I personally feel that the armrest is really flimsy. So after a month of using the Cougar Argo daily for around more than 14 hours a day, here are the things that I have noticed. The headrest, it's really an important adjustment. I can safely say that almost every day I adjust the headrest. There is no perfect setting because I think every day you sit differently, you have different posture. So when you tend to sit on this chair, uh, you might feel a little discomfort or yeah, it feels a little icky when you try to sit it. So I constantly adjust it. It's not that it is not stiff or it is easily movable, but it is just with my personal experience that every time I sit, I tend to adjust the headrest. The heavy feet and seat base is a really big advantage. It keeps the whole chair grounded. So currently, I am using a Cougar floor mat. So I super like it because it protects my wooden tiles. Currently, I'm using the wooden tiles, and I am worried that if I am using this chair and it has a serious weight to it, it might scratch my wooden tiles. So, with the help of the Cougar floor mat, uh, it also stabilizes the chair. I think it's because of the material. So, the caster wheels kind of digs to the mat, but it's not damaging the mat. The mat is just supporting the caster wheels that it won't easily be moved. Speaking of the weight of the base, it is also helpful because when the tension or the recline is not locked, I know you have this feeling that when you recline the chair, you have a sudden rush or a sudden sensation that you are falling. But with the tension or the recline tension, you don't have that feeling because there is some resistance when you try to recline. After a month of using the Cougar Argo, the only con that I can think of is the armrest. Right now, it feels more loose. When you try to wiggle it, it tends to move more than what it is when I unboxed it. And then the sliding of the depth adjustment of the armrest is now more loose, and the side to side adjustment is, I think it's more soft than when I unboxed it, that it offers more resistance. Also, when you try to rotate the chair, especially when you're trying to sit on it, usually my habit is to grab the armrest and then rotate the chair. But because of the flimsy armrest, when I try to rotate the chair, it immediately adjusts. So I am worried that it might loosen the armrest more. So I tend to change that habit. So instead of grabbing the armrest, I now grab the backrest when I spin uh, the chair. And I think that's a better habit to develop because the armrest is kind of a weak point rather than the backrest that it is a solid part of the chair. So, after 2 months of using this ergonomic chair, I'm going to tell you my pros and cons, but to change it a bit, I'm going to tell you the cons first. First, the armrest is now flimsy. Remember when I predicted that the armrest is going to be the weakest point of the chair? I was on target. Right now, you require uh, just a little force, and it now wiggles a lot. And then adjusting the armrest is now really easy. Adjusting the angles, I mean, the for the front and back, yeah, it is now more loose than it was before. I know you have this experience wherein you are a few hours sitting in the chair and you tend to melt onto the chair and kind of slouch. So when you notice that you're slouching, you try to adjust your sitting posture. So you grab the armrest and lift your body weight using the armrest. And because my configuration is, I like to keep it uh, as 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 near as the table as possible. So when I lift my body weight, the the armrest tends to slide forward. So I think that's a factor why the I mean the depth adjustment of the armrest is now loose. And the right armrest is now more loose than my left armrest because uh, I tend to stand up by rotating the chair to my right and then stand up. But a lot of times I brush off the armrest and just with the light contact with my body and the armrest adjusts the angle, and I think uh, that is also a factor why the angle adjustment of the right armrest is now flimsy. Also, with the base, I just noticed it. I think a month into using the chair, uh, there's a little wobble with the seat base. But now, 2 months in using this ergonomic chair, I feel more wobble, but it's not really alarming. It's more, I think it's normal with some chair that there is some wobble into it. Imagine I am 100 kilos, so I am always sitting in this chair. So, and I tend to slouch a lot. So I think that's also a factor that the you can see the chair here when I try to wobble it. You can see the angle that it is waving instead of side to side movement. When I try to shift my weight, you can see it swaying a little, but it's not really alarming, to be honest. I have a few chairs that wobbles more than this experience, and when I look at the the mechanism or the connecting point itself, I cannot see any cracks or any alarming damage to it. And now for the pros. I have a lot to say about this chair. Uh, I mentioned earlier that I am 100 kilos and I am sitting in this chair every day for more than 14 hours, and then the seat is still holding up my weight. Remember the mesh cushion? It's not. It's like a hammock. It's not a foam that presses with your butt. It's more on it's cradling your butt. And then there's a little sag now, but I think that sag is adjustment with your body form. And to be honest, it's more comfortable uh, to sit today than what it is when I bought it. Because when I first bought it, it's more on there's a lot of resistance with the mesh seat, but now it is cradling my buttocks perfectly. Upon closer inspection with the seat, I cannot see any visible damage or any possible tears, and that's a very good news. 2 months of using it straight. Some of the chairs that I have used in the past is uh, some of the foam try to give up. Sometimes you can feel some bolts, pressing into your butt because the foam is already failing. But with this, I cannot feel any discomfort with the seat itself. When I look at uh, the the areas around it, there is no stretch or any cracks or any tears. And that's a very good sign that the seat itself is very durable. For the lumbar support, it's not as sturdy as it was before, but it's still very comfortable. Uh, yeah, I wish there is a height adjustment because sometimes I wish that the lumbar support is kind of in a higher place in my lower back. But I cannot complain because if I just sit with a proper posture, it tends to lock with my body form, and the even though it's not as sturdy as before, but it still gives a lot of good resistance with my lower back, forcing me to sit with a proper posture. Oh, speaking of the base, it is very stable and I cannot see any damages to the caster wheels. I inspect it closely and then I cannot see any scratches to it. I think the Cougar floor mat gives a lot of protection to my wooden tiles and also with the wheels of the chair. I really love the floor mat and also the stability it adds to the chair. And lastly, I know it might sound weird, but I also did a smell test. So a lot happened for the past 2 months. I There are hot days, there are cold days, cold nights, hot nights. There are some time that after workout I sit in this chair and I know I sweat a lot. As you can see, just by talking in front of you, I am already sweating and yeah, I sweat a lot. So sometimes I smeared some of my sweat in the chair, the lumbar support, and also in the headrest. And then uh, I had a smell test, and I cannot smell any stench that's stuck into the chair. I have some chairs before that after a week or two of using it, I can already notice a stench developing. But with this chair, I'm surprised that I did not uh, I did not spot any development of any bad odor or stench, especially with the lumbar support because when you sweat, it slides down your lower back, and mostly the lumbar support is wet from sweat, but there's no stench. And surprisingly, those are the only two cons that I can criticize about this share. Overall, after 2 months of using this share daily, I can say it upgraded my sitting comfort level by a mile. There are weekends when I stayed at my parents' place, and when I am there, I am using a normal office chair. And I think I spoiled my lower back because if I sit on that chair after a few hours, I can already feel some discomfort in my lower back. But when I sit on this chair again, all the discomfort melts away. So that's it with my honest review regarding the Cougar Argo. If you like this video, please leave a like, and then if you're at it, push the subscribe button and hit on the notification icon so that you will be updated with the latest videos that I'm going to send. And if you recommend this share to your friends, you can recommend them the unboxing video and also my honest review. I wish that this honest review can help you guys decide in buying the next ergonomic chair. And see you in the next video. Bye.